Explorers laughed at Earth's warnings. Now their signals are just ghost echoes, Commander. Zixthala adjusted her crystalline neck ridges as the laughter echoed through the bridge of the exploration vessel. Eternal curiosity. The Kethvari commander found human paranoia particularly amusing, a species so young, so inexperienced, yet so convinced of their wisdom. Transmission received from Earth Control, announced her communications officer, his bioluminescent patches flickering with mirth. They're requesting we abort the mission to Kepler 442b. More laughter rippled through the diverse crew. The Vorthak engineer's tentacles writhed in amusement, while the silicon-based Christek navigator chimed harmonically, their equivalent of a chuckle. Even the normally stoic Zentoran tactical officer's mandibles clicked in what passed for humor among his kind. What's their excuse this time? Zixthala asked, though she already suspected the answer. Humans were notorious throughout the Galactic Exploration Consortium for their excessive caution, a trait that had kept them confined to their own solar system for centuries, while other species spread across the stars. Something about dark energy fluctuations and quantum resonance patterns that suggest dimensional instability. The communications officer read, his voice dripping with mockery. They claim Kepler 442b exists in a probability flux zone where reality itself becomes malleable. The bridge erupted in fresh peals of laughter. The Kethvari had been exploring space for over 3 millennia. The Vorthak had mapped 14 galaxies. The Christek had transcended physical form twice and rebuilt themselves from pure information. What could a species that had barely mastered faster-than-light travel possibly know about the cosmos that they didn't? File it with the other human warnings, Zixthala commanded dismissively. Remember when they told us not to visit the Betelgeuse system because the star was about to go supernova? That was 400 years ago, and it's still burning bright. Or when they claimed the Andromeda relay station was built on unstable spacetime, added the Vorthak engineer. We've been using it for trade for 2 centuries without incident. The Eternal Curiosity pressed onward toward Kepler 442b, its mixed crew of 12 representing 7 different species, all united in their dismissal of human wisdom. They were the consortium's finest, scientists, explorers, and pioneers who had pushed the boundaries of known space for generations. Dr. Sarah Chen sat alone in the communications bay of Luna Station, watching the red dots on her screen move steadily toward what her calculations suggested was certain doom. The other members of Earth's xenogeology department had long since stopped listening to her warnings. Even her own government had begun to question whether humanity should continue participating in consortium missions if they were going to keep crying wolf about cosmic dangers. But Sarah's mathematical models were precise. Her quantum mechanics professors at MIT had called her work revolutionary, if controversial. The patterns she detected in the cosmic background radiation around certain systems suggested pockets of space where the laws of physics themselves became unstable, where observation itself could alter reality in catastrophic ways. Kepler 442b sat at the center of just such a zone. She transmitted one final warning. Please reconsider. Our analysis suggests the planet exists in a quantum superposition state. Your observation of it may collapse the wave function in unexpected ways. The entire system could. The transmission was cut short by an override from Consortium Command. Apparently, the other species had voted. Humanity's warnings were now classified as interference with sanctioned exploration and would no longer be transmitted to active missions. 3 days later, the Eternal Curiosity entered the Kepler 442 system. Commander Zixthala stared in wonder at the impossible sight before them. Kepler 442b hung in space like a jewel, its surface shimmering with colors that had no names in any of their languages. The planet seemed to pulse with an inner light, beautiful and mesmerizing. Fascinating, breathed the Christek navigator. The planet's quantum signature is unlike anything we've encountered. It's as if it exists in multiple states simultaneously. Begin standard survey protocols, Zixthala ordered, though something in the back of her mind whispered that perhaps they should be more cautious. She dismissed the feeling as residual influence from the human transmissions. The moment their sensors touched the planet's surface, everything changed. Reality hiccuped. The Eternal Curiosity found itself existing in 17 different locations, simultaneously. The crew experienced their deaths in 43 distinct ways while also living through impossible futures. Commander Zixathala watched herself being born, dying, and never existing, all at the same time. The planet below began to sing, not with sound, but with mathematics, with the fundamental equations that governed existence itself. The song was beautiful and terrifying, rewriting the rules of physics in real time. The last coherent transmission from the Eternal Curiosity was a single message sent across all frequencies in a desperate burst of power. The humans were right. We should have listened. We should have. Then came only silence. Dr. Sarah Chen detected the quantum cascade 3 days later, a ripple in space-time that suggested the total annihilation of matter in the Kepler 442 system. Not destruction, but a return to the probabilistic state that existed before the Big Bang, before observation had collapsed the universal wave function into the reality they knew. She filed her report with trembling hands, knowing it would join the hundreds of others that had been dismissed as human paranoia. In the margins, she wrote a small note. We are the youngest species in the consortium, and perhaps that is exactly why we see the dangers. We remember what it was like when the universe was young and wild, when reality itself was still deciding what it wanted to be. The ghost echoes began arriving a week later, fragments of the Eternal Curiosity's final transmissions, bouncing across quantum dimensions and arriving at Earth's listening stations in impossible sequences. Sometimes they received messages from crew members who had died centuries before the mission. Sometimes they received tactical reports from futures that would never exist. The Galactic Exploration Consortium officially declared the Eternal Curiosity and her crew lost to unknown cosmic phenomena. They did not acknowledge the human warnings that preceded the disaster. But in the classified files deep within consortium archives, a single line was quietly added to the exploration protocols. In cases of extreme uncertainty, consult Earth databases for potential hazard assessment. It wasn't an apology, it wasn't even an admission of error, but it was a beginning.